When I was a child, we used to have a big fruit garden. It was so beautiful. My cousins used to come from big cities and they used to enjoy here a lot with us. And, we were the village girls with my sisters. Like, they were enjoying so much, and we were kind of like in pain because of all the work, and we were feeling like we looked bad. But anyway, this fruit garden actually how we made money. We used to pick up fruit and we used to sell it. There are several types of fruit and they have all different months of picking them. So the one I hated the most was apricot fruit. And I hated picking up apricots because maybe the apricot trees are usually grow in this under the trees. There used to be lots of thorns and these harmful plants. Whenever we went to pick up apricots, I actually remember these thorns hurting my arms and legs, and I was kind of in pain in the evening when we went home. We used to take shower, and with the water effect, it was like hurting me more. I really remember it like yesterday. Anyway, those days were like a few months, actually. We had lots of apricot trees and we spent lots of days picking them up. So you can imagine my torture. Also bugs, oh my god, they were so ugly bugs. I hated so much because they were kind of inside the apricot. So when we were trying to pick up those apricots, bugs all over us. So I'm sorry if I annoyed you so much, but I really wanted you to understand how I used to feel at that time when I was a child. Maybe just 6, 7 years old, I remember. And I think until I was 15 or 16, this kept going. We had that garden and we used to work for it. When we were collecting those apricots, I actually improved the system for myself. Because, imagine lots of apricots on the floor, because when the apricots are ripe enough, they fall on the floor. So that's actually how we collect. Or maybe we shake the trees and they fall on the floor. That's how we collect. Because these apricots, are not like the best quality, and actually they go to become juice. So it doesn't matter if they are smashed or not, blah, blah. So we used to collect these apricots, and I remember lots of apricots. And I remember feeling so overwhelmed by the fact that, oh my God, we have to pick up all these apricots. I remember I feel like it will never finish. And it was making me feel so sad or worried, anxious, I don't know, as a child, but we kept doing it. I remember every other minute I used to stand up and look at all the amount of the apricots and keep going, but feeling horrible with the amount of the apricots on the floor. After a few years, as I got experienced in collecting apricots, I improved my self-esteem. I stopped standing up. I was crouching down. I was kind of like in a squat shape, like sitting, and I am going to focus on the place that I see only. I'm not going to look at the whole picture, I'm not going to look at all apricots. So as I am crouched down, I just look at a specific area and I pick up all the apricots. Then I move forward a little bit and I keep collecting. That was the technique I found, because I realized when I don't look at the whole big messy floor, I was just focusing on the small parts as far as my eyes see. I was actually doing much better. And I realized the task finished quickly. I was actually picking up more apricots in a very short time. I guess by now you got me. You got my point and you know where I am going with this. When I grew up, I realized that these apricots, all the apricots on the floor, were my problems. Actually, I had lots of things. Like, we all have lots of things to deal. And when you stand up and when you look at all those problems, it becomes so overwhelming. You don't know where to start. You don't know how to solve, what to solve first or second. And you have this heavy feeling on your heart and you feel like you're going down. And I felt this a lot of times in my life. Like in high school, when I was preparing for this exam to go to university, or when I established my own language school, I was all by myself. I tried to do everything by myself in the beginning, and it was so painful. And I went into depression, like not so long, because I managed to get up and fix myself, but there were times like I was really falling down. And I realized those times that I was falling down, I was looking at all the problems together. And it was so heavy. It was so heavy. So I really, really feel you if there are those times that you feel so heavy under lots of tasks and you don't know what to do. So this apricot technique was a life-saving technique for me, because I implemented this technique into all the steps of my life. Whenever I felt it's too much, I cannot deal with this anymore. And you know that feeling? You just want to go under the bed and you want to pull the blanket on you and you just want to be invisible. You don't want to talk to anyone. You don't want to hear anyone. Just block out. So those days, I remembered apricot method. And I get up and I look at the smallest amount, like as far as my eyes see, as far as I can do, what I can do now, smallest actions, and I start to do it. Okay, next one, and next one. That's how I actually overcame so many problems in my life. And as someone just started alone and for a long time, and I had full-time job and managing my own startup, it was really not easy. But for me, I managed that, and I realized actually I managed a big amount of work when people start to react to me. Like, you do a lot of things, how you manage this? And I was like, isn't it normal? Like, we all manage and it's easy, you know? But I realized, no, it was not easy. Like, people can manage only one full-time job and they cannot do other things. And it's normal, actually, it's normal. I'm not saying it's not normal. But what I am saying, with this technique only, I could deal with lots of tasks, almost 2-3 jobs, and I run my own startup, and I'm a full-time worker, and I am a full-time YouTuber. Like, it's a lot of things. So I managed it, and I really wanted to share this with you so you implement the same into your life, looking at the place where you can fix as far as you can do. Just focus on the small amounts. And believe me, when you focus on the small amounts of problem, you solve it. You solve it step by step. And suddenly you pick up all those apricots and you realize the task has finished. Yeah, that's it from me for today, and hope to see you in another episode. Take care. Pick up the apricots.